I always tell people that in the transition, which we'll talk about, from wrestling booking to wrestling writing, writing means it's overproduced, overscripted, overcontrolled, micromanaged, homogenized, sanitized, pasteurized, the little cellophane wrapper on the toilet seat at the Super 8, it's sanitized for your protection. With wrestling booking, basically somebody has to have an eye for talent and a knowledge of what the matches are supposed to look like and maybe what the fans might want to see, and you take some interesting, unique, and charismatic personalities. You bring them into your territory. You put them in a position where you can expose them to the public and get them over where the people are interested in them, whether they are predisposed to like them or to hate them. And then you manipulate them into a personal situation or a quest for a championship where they're going to fight each other and you sell tickets to it. That's harder than writing. You put a chimpanzee in front of a typewriter and give him an infinite amount of time and paper, and sooner or later he's got a Pulitzer Prize winner. But a chimpanzee cannot book because you have to deal with personalities. And that's what's been lost in the transition to wrestling writing, is now everything sounds the same and everybody talks the same. And I always say, Stephanie McMahon, I never had a crossword with her. She's a nice girl, but she was the boss's daughter. And her main qualification for booking is that she's the boss's daughter. She couldn't book Lassie in a pet shop. But people think you got a degree in creative writing and you have written television that entitles you to be able to write wrestling. Well, you can write wrestling, but you can't book wrestling.
Where did we lose that? When was the emphasis put on writing over booking?
When corporate America took over, the TBS buyout, they didn't know what they were doing. Then the territories went by the wayside, and when there was a strong territory in almost every part of the country, the promoter took care of his business in his territory. And all of the promoters together took care of their business all across the country, and you didn't let people reinvent the wheel or fix what wasn't broke or whatever, tired cliche you want to use. And then all of a sudden, everybody got involved. And everybody can be a promoter, and everybody can be a booker or a writer, and everybody can be a wrestler practically anymore. And all of a sudden, it got very, very watered down to where, and then, television took over, and you have to serve the demands of television and pay-per-view and networks, and it's just, wrestling got too big for its own good. And at the same time, it constricted and got real small.